who is head of human capital, and Tanya Farhad from the Lebanese General Council. The theme for the panel this year was building on Canadian, American, and Lebanese experiences to debate whether Lebanese graduates are ready to embrace the evolving tech-driven workplace and looking at the impact of artificial intelligence and new technology on higher education. It appeared to us as a topic of great importance, even of great urgency. Automation, deep and machine learning will undoubtedly add to the polarization of jobs that was instilled by the technological revolution that took place in the 70s. It divided jobs between high-skilled and high demand and low-skilled with poor working conditions. It is highly likely that low-skilled jobs will completely be replaced by automation with capacity of organization, allowing them to play their full role in the global value chains, thereby retaining skills. If not, you train for high skills, they're ready. So in composing the panel, I had the great pleasure and was very honored to invite Mrs. Rola Darren, President of FAKIH, Mrs. Rana Rayed, Senior Vice President at Caisse de dépôt et de placement du Québec. They will start the discussions by sharing with us the sense of transformations that affect skills and employment in their business sectors. To assess how and why universities have no choice but to rethink education systems and take the turn of the fourth industrial revolution, I have had
access to sustainable standard, like with high standard Lebanese product that comes consistently to you. And when you're growing, sustainability and consistency is the secret sauce to success. So yeah, great. I mean, everybody can do a great shawarma, and my mom does the best tabbouleh, and your mom does the best kibble. But if you do it once, it's a hobby. If you can repeat it, it's a business, right? Yeah, a lot of people do it once, they hit it hard, and they are great, everybody go, but can you repeat it?
Exactly the same thing every single time.
Absolutely. And the problem with the supplies, and I think it's a bigger vision. Lebanese that they are here in Canada that works in the food industry, and the Lebanese that they are working in Lebanon in the food industry need to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, if we're successful here, and we want to work with back home, which is add to our success, not only is the right thing to do, I like to talk a lot of more business, but you end up finding out the right thing to do and the most profitable thing to do possibly are the same thing, right? So the right thing to do is benefiting your country, but the profitable thing to do is advertising authentic ingredient. That means basically benefiting your own country. So there's an education piece, and I'm going to blame them on this one because the suppliers, and you have nothing to do with it, you're not from the supplier side, but the suppliers in Lebanon, they do the first shipment right, the second shipment right, and the third shipment, it comes 80% comparing to the quality of the one before. So we need to work on making them understand and educate them on the bigger picture. I have several names of suppliers, and I'm not here definitely to defame anybody, but I have several names of suppliers where I used to buy from them hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in Beirut, and I received bad shipments, so I had to stop immediately. So because you can't simply change your standard, because people will say, oh wow, Beirut now is growing, they start growing, and the quality change. They don't understand that bringing authentic food, bringing that experience of Lebanese food with the Lebanese culture, it takes much more than one factor. It takes more than the ingredient, more than the culture. It takes consistent supply chain. So I think the Lebanese, including the government, including all the associations, need to work together to educate the suppliers in Lebanon to provide high quality supplies that we here can, like with 70 locations worldwide. I cannot afford to have my pickles tasting one way, the tahini tasting the other way every single month. And when you go to the scalability of 70 locations, over $150 million sales a year, that affects your sales, affects your sales margin. So it's very important to do the right thing from both sides, from the Lebanese that they're running food and beverage here in Canada or anywhere worldwide, but very important to monitor the quality of the supplies that the suppliers in Lebanon are shipping abroad, right? So we can maintain our success and consistency, and we can keep them busy so they can hire more Lebanese and we have less young people leaving the country.
I'll come back for later. I think I have a lot to talk about on that subject. But let me jump to my friend. Our fourth panelist is Lebanon's leading winemaker. In 1992, Sami Hassan started Messiah. 3 years later, he introduced Messiah in the famous Blue Bottle. In 1998, he partnered with French winemakers and launched the Messiah Wine Company. 20 years later, Messiah Winery is in the Bekaa and FAKIH. Sami, I'm wondering if you can elaborate on the challenges you have faced in entering the North American market. Can you hear Sami well?
No.
I think we need to. Can we do something with the volume, please? That Sami's mic.
Hello.
Yes. Yes. Now we're on.
So,
You're not going to repeat that again, right?
so we started Messiah after integrating the land. I gave back my green card in 1990, and not to be tempted by facility, you turn it back to the US. Now we export about 80% of production, and our bottleneck is basically production. I would like to ask me how to penetrate on 3 points: quality, and this I will come back to logistics and demand. In this instance, for example, I would like to thank Minister Bassi for his insistence on every occasion of having and serving Lebanese wine, wherever the occasion presents itself. And not long ago, he was in Deir Ahmar, and there were 2 people there drinking Arab, who were one of them students, while many Lebanese from the Bekaa, for example, Messiah in the Bekaa, they said, شو فهم ولا جاي من بيروت جاي يعملوا عرب ومزح. We came with the Blue Bottle, and I think that Arab making. With the French, we needed also know-how. The most important know-how I came to discover is that the quality of the wine is in the grape. 98% of the quality of the wine is the grape. Lebanon, ladies and gentlemen, produces amongst the very best grapes in the world. It is no coincidence that the Romans, while the empire stretched all the way from Asia to Scotland in the temple, the only temple for battles for God of grapes and wine, in Ma'albak in the Bekaa Valley, not in Tuscany or Rome, or certainly not Napa Valley. What I would like to point out here is if every one of you, and I'm sure many of you, to realize that requested a bottle of Lebanese wine whenever they are going to a social occasion, like the minister has been requesting, like Ambassador Ziad stressed, like my dear friend Marwan Hayek and his company Alpha support, like President Ferrer and Bank of Beirut support. SIQ had to airship a full pallet of wine because there wasn't enough Lebanese wine here, so we had to airship a pallet of Masai wine. Just to tell you, because the quality is there, because the logistics you have to work on it, and the demand, you are the people that can. We should not, rely on the others to come to us and beg us for wine. It's not going to happen this way. We have to be there. Let me tell you two things about the quality. Lebanese wines are organic by default. We don't irrigate, we don't have to spray the grapes. We don't force nature in any way. And the second thing that is very important when you talk quality is the origin's reputation. Chile under Pinochet dictatorship would not sell wine. There would not be demand. South Africa under apartheid, they were not able to sell wine either. Nonetheless, and despite all the hardship around Lebanon and in Lebanon, thanks to each one of you, the reputation of Lebanon and the resonance of Lebanon remained positive, and people requested wine. Our main customers in Quebec or in Montreal and in general in Canada are not the Lebanese. The Lebanese opened the door. It's the Canadians now that are friends with Lebanese and friends with their generosity and friendship and all of that are ordering the wines. So, if every Lebanese in Lebanon, especially the diaspora, would, take a bottle of wine when going to a social occasion, whatever it is, we would save farmers from leaving their land. You would save Lebanon from quarries, from asphalt, from concrete. A vine in Lebanon doesn't need water. You know that we have almost snow-capped mountains almost along, and the vine doesn't need water. This is why this plant, our grandparents and ancestors had in front of every house, be it for the grapes, for the vine leaves, for the wood, for the burning, for Halloum. All these, it's a very versatile plant. A bottle of wine in your mindset is one vine leaf planted in Lebanon. So this is, we would reach, Mr. Minister, the 100 million bottles from the 10 million we are producing today without forcing anyone's arm. Economically, you cannot do it anyhow, anyway. But if the Lebanese diaspora, this is part of our Lebanese. And imagine the impact of how much this upscales Lebanon's image when you are offering a bottle of Lebanese wine and the discussion this brings. How many times I'm in New York and so forth. How can you make wine and there is so and so in Lebanon? And I'm not going to get political about it. But a bottle of wine from Lebanon is the message of Lebanon. Every one of us here craves it. I think time is up.
Yes. Twice. Double the time today. At the outset, let me thank all our panelists.
Fight of talent. Who can maintain and retain retention of talents? The second part is planet. Who can run a business profitable while you're worrying about the environment? And the third part is purpose. I take a pride that I run a company that when we were even one restaurant, and today at 70 locations worldwide, we run a company with a great purpose of giving back to the community. If you run a company that environmentally aware and a company that worries about the community, you will gather so many more people around you. Let me tell you, the vice president of Paramount is the senior vice president of McDonald's. He left McDonald's with a huge salary to come to work with a company with purpose. So that's very important. And then becomes the profit, right? Because if you have a company with purpose, if you have a company with good people, and you have a company that worries about the planet, who doesn't want to support that does good, part of their DNA is donating and helping the community. So it's very important. A lot of people ask, what is the reason of success? And the last part is culture. Having the right culture, culture of family. I always say the culture of Paramount is love. It's a love culture. You love your customer, you love your country, you love the food, you love each other, you love the staff, right? Having a great culture within your own company. The IKEA culture. Making your executive feel part of the creation.
But I have to, as a moderator, I'm not allowed to give my point of view, but here I would like to add something. I think it's about time that all Lebanese restaurants call themselves Lebanese restaurants, okay? Because if we don't do, we are diluting who we are and what we stand for. And in the beginning, I was one of them where you had always an issue that, you know what, you're always stating and avoiding. But I think by doing that, we're harming our culture, we're harming our values. I for one, I have a Lebanese fish restaurant, and that will be on all my cards. Okay, but we have to face that fact because it keeps going back and forth, and I think we have to talk about it. It's a big elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it, but I think it's time now that we've done enough.
Paramount Lebanese Kitchen is a Paramount Lebanese restaurant. So Paramount, it says Lebanese Kitchen. But I'm still going to insist to the point. In Canada, we need to always take an inclusive approach to the world. And if we do not include others, right, we can't ask to be included. That said, specifying the type of food is absolutely right. Nor Adonis said that Adonis is a Lebanese supermarket. It doesn't. Right.
But I have to again disagree with you on one thing.
So
our essential problem is that we are integrated, so we are already part of the society. So I think we should give our culture its due value and move ahead with it.
Absolutely.
Sami, anything to add?
Two things. Let me reiterate that the bottle of wine, ladies and gentlemen, from Lebanon is a message of civility, of tolerance, of our education, of our openness. This is the most beautiful gift you can offer from your own and about the image of your country. In the name of the Temple of BELLE that stands today in the Bekaa Valley, and every vine farming person in Lebanon, I invite you to offer and resonate Lebanese wines, be it in your beautiful restaurants, or in your homes, or in your social events. And the second remark, I have started Messiah in '98. It's our 20th anniversary, and not once have I seen any person in the political establishment that has done the drive Minister Basil has done, be it through the Agriculture Ministry, be it through the LDE, all the efforts you are embracing and energizing and bringing together in terms of energizing Lebanon and Lebanon's image is really unique. I have never seen the Lebanese establishment as a state back in any way. You have friends here that are from the diverse part of the industry. I produce and work in Lebanon. Besides your own personal efforts and your own personal energy that you have put on that shelter. And I take the occasion of having ambassadors from the South American.
Time is clicking.
Sorry?
Your tongue is clicking.
Done? I wanted to just thank them for thinking when we discussed it earlier, and I think this would be a huge for Lebanese food and particularly wine.
Sumaya, what would you like to finish with?
I would like to finish on the end that I think that my business predominantly just operates in Lebanon. And 90% or 95% of my sales are generated from a loyal Lebanese customer base. So for me, I believe FAKIH cracked Lebanese trade. The last confectionery factory was established in 1857, which we all know as Halloum. Since then, today if I ask you, as a Lebanese, what cookie comes to mind, you will tell me either directly, the little cookies. So I believe that FAKIH is the confectionery factory that has come after, and I'm very proud of what this little cookie company has established and done so far. I really profoundly believe in it, and I think you're right that we need to work a lot to insist and persist on quality, because it is one, but it's starting, and I see changes, aggressive changes happening across the food and beverage industry in Lebanon. So to that I say,
Well, I promise you I'll be your ambassador. I promise you I will be your ambassador for your products and categories. In conclusion, I would like to in conclusion, I would like to say our now.
هقول لك اللي كنت الاول بلد فيه بالساعه كان اللي في الساعه وانا جبت كل شيء وما جبت عم جبت من الضامن من اللي ماشي الحال.
I'd like to remind everyone to please pick up their gala tickets outside of the registration booths if you haven't done so already. And I also would like to thank everybody for joining us today. We will be here tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. So we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you again for our final session in Gastro.